Well, welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to have a little more fun with my reviews. In honor of the Habanos Festival just ending yesterday, which would be February 2nd, 2012, I'm reviewing one of my favorite Cuban cigars today. This is the Partagas Serie D number 4, or as some people call it, the PSD4. This is from October 2010 box code, and is technically 124 millimeters long by 50 ring gauge. When you do the math, that is 4.88 inches by 50. They hold the Habanos Festival every year, and this year it was in Havana. It started February 27th. Yes, February 27th, and went through March the 2nd. So it seemed appropriate to review this cigar today. If you read my blog, you'll see this week where I wrote an article about how cigars can change as far as from one production run to the next, sometimes using different years tobacco, and it can change the way a known cigar tastes. Well, that seems to be very prominent or kept up with in the Cuban cigar world. There is a lot made about what year a particular Cuban cigar is. This cigar is considered by some to be young because it was produced and boxed in 2010, actually October 2010. So only just over a year ago. But let's see what this cigar is like. Okay, again, here is the cigar. These are quite lovely to look at. It's a reddish brown color. All Cubans, of course, are triple capped, and I doubt seriously if you can make that out, but feel free to count them. Now, let's sample it and see what it's like. The draw is very good. Right away, there's a lot of nice blast of pepper. Let's see what other flavors you get initially. It's like a combination of vanilla and almond. You get a lot of vanilla notes there. They're very prominent up front. Lightly roasted almonds. There's actually a little twang to it. I'm going to say primarily you get vanilla, and this twang is like a grapefruit citrus. So it's primarily vanilla, lesser amounts of grapefruit citrus, and then the back end has the lightly roasted almonds. Yep, that's it initially. And the pepper is very, very good. Now, the finish, if there is one right now, let's see. It's vanilla, but it's a custardy type vanilla, sort of a vanilla pudding. That's actually what it reminds me of. And just a touch of lingering pepper. So there are your initial flavors. You pick up a PSD4 from October or from 2010, that should be what you would taste. And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to smoke a Partagas Serie D number 4, but by and large, they're out there, and you get on vacation, and hey, always always, I will say this, if you're going to purchase something like this in the Caribbean, you want to go to La Casa del Habanos. Those are franchise shops set up through the Cuban government, and they came about simply as a way of uh, keeping people from the traps of fake cigars. First one was put in Cancun, Mexico. And although the very first one is not there anymore, I have been to the LCDH, as they're known, in Cancun, and it's a great place. Okay, we're only about an eighth or a quarter of an inch in, and now the vanilla and grapefruit citrus are even. There are some subtle almond notes on the tail end of the spice, and the pepper continues to be very good. The vanilla, custard-like, pudding-like vanilla is still on the finish, and the pepper is lingering nicely. It's all around the palate and on the tongue. It's very nice. So, um, like I said, we're only a quarter inch in, but let's come back in a few minutes and let's revisit it and see what has changed, if anything. But right now, it's starting out very good. You would call this in the normal non-Cuban cigar world medium bodied at this point. These in the Cuban world are called full bodied. And it will get fairly full, but it's medium bodied right now. And it may get medium to full, but let's see. Be right back. We're only about an inch in, and the cigar has developed somewhat of a richness in the vanilla. The vanilla richness is now primary, and the grapefruit citrus is more secondary, whereas just a few minutes ago they were even. The richness of the vanilla carries over into the finish, and the finish is now wonderful. It is a vanilla pudding. It is that creamy. The pepper is very nice on both ends, and as I speak to you, I can feel the pepper on my palate, the rear palate. It's very nice. So the Partagas Serie D number 4, October 2010 box code is going along nicely. I spoke earlier about how there is a lot of emphasis on what year, even what month and what year Cuban cigars are boxed and produced. On the bottom of legitimate boxes, there is a code of where the cigars were produced, and there is a 3-letter month code followed by the year, a 2-digit year. In this case, it was OCT 10, October 10, is what this box had on it. If you look at the ash, it's quite nice. It's pretty much pure salt and pepper. The burn is fairly even, just a tad off, but not enough to do anything wrong, and I will smoke this cigar slowly and savor it. My my assessment is accurate as far as I'm concerned. Of course, all these views on my reviews are mine. You can choose to disagree. Fine, but I'm telling you what I taste. Now, it's going along nicely. Uh, subtle, subtle almonds on the back end of that spice, but it is developing a nice richness now in the vanilla, and the grapefruit citrus is combining with it nicely. Uh, Subtle almonds on the tail end, and a great vanilla and lingering pepper finish. So the only change at this point, and it's been a long way to go around to get to this point to tell you, but the only big change is that the vanilla is developing richness, and that's always good. So I'll be back. The cigar continues to go along fantastically, but I thought I would give you just a smidgen of history behind Partagas. Did you know that the year foundation of Partagas cigars in Cuba was 1845? Needless to say, they've been around quite a while. The founder was Don Jaime Partagas, who actually began manufacturing cigars earlier than that in 1827. So, thought I would let you know that there are a lot of good cigars out there, but this continues to be one of my favorites. Um, it's just a very good cigar. I have a lot of cigars I like. When I am in the Caribbean region, I look for these. We're not quite at the midpoint, but the flavors are still intact. There is the somewhat richness. It's not overblown richness, but it's a somewhat rich vanilla and that grapefruit citrus and the subtle almonds. Everything's the same. Everything is still the same. It's not a. This cigar will not change drastically. It's not what you would call, or what I term as a complex cigar. It doesn't change and make drastic changes from point to point, but it remains very consistent and very good for the most part. So there we are, approaching the midpoint and still going nicely. Right down at the end, the PSD4 is one of my favorite cigars. This cigar will improve with some time. It's been very good. I enjoyed the richness of the vanilla, and the grapefruit citrus was very nice. The pepper was good on both ends, and the vanilla finish was just fantastic. Uh, as I said, I think these will improve with age. They are fairly young, from October of 2010, but nonetheless a good cigar. This cigar for me rates out at a 92, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit, and I will continue to enjoy it until it burns my fingers.